Sister wives. Does Kody Brown spend more time with Robyn Brown's children than his other kids? He doesn't see his former wives' children as often. Kody Brown has 18 children, but the sister wives patriarch doesn't treat them all equally. When it comes to face-to-face time, Kody is much closer to his children with his fourth wife and youngest wife, Robyn Brown. When the beloved unscripted series premiered in 2010, the Browns were one big happy family. The first season of the series chronicled Kody's marriage to Robyn, which changed the dynamic. Robyn was a divorcee who had 3 children from her previous marriage. The couple went on to have 2 biological children of their own, bringing their total to 5. At his peak, Kody had 4 wives and 18 children, but the good times wouldn't last long. By the time Sister Wives Season 19 premiered, 3 of Kody's 4 wives had walked away from the marriage. Kody and Robyn found themselves in an accidentally monogamous marriage. Kody was already struggling to connect with many of his children. The divorces blew apart what remained of the relationships. These days, Kody is close to his children with Robyn, which he refers to as his core family, but he barely speaks to many of his older children. It's no secret that Robyn married Kody to be part of his polygamous family. She grew up in a polygamous community, but her first marriage had been monogamous before it ended in divorce. Robyn famously said that she didn't fall in love with just Kody, but with his whole family. She saw the unique dynamic of the close-knit Brown clan and wanted the same for herself and her children. Robyn often dreamed of growing old with her sister wives. She saw herself sitting on a porch with them in old age, surrounded by their many children and grandchildren. Alas, Robyn's dream was crushed by reality. Most of the Brown family didn't welcome her and her children as much as she had hoped. Kody's older children resented him for taking on more obligations when they felt like he was barely giving them the time and attention they needed. When Kody started to favor Robyn, his other wives and their children grew angrier at Kody. When the COVID-19 pandemic further divided the already struggling family, they never bounced back. Cristin Brown, wife number 3, left Kody in 2021, followed by Janelle Brown and Mary Brown. The Browns are Mormons, but they've grown less spiritual over the years. Recently, some members of the family experienced a religious revival. During Sister Wives Season 19, Robyn's daughter, 22-year-old Aurora Brown, joined a church and asked Kody to help baptize her. After the baptism, the family went to dinner to celebrate. In an on-camera interview during the episode, Robyn confessed to being disappointed that none of their children had decided to join their church. "I do feel like we failed," Robyn laments. She discusses why she thinks the family fell apart and seems to accept some accountability. Robyn regrets that the family's adults were too focused on themselves and not on what was best for the group. She also points out that they didn't send her God enough. Though the Brown family is Mormon, they seem to lose interest in religion over time. During the first few seasons of Sister Wives, the family could often be seen praying together, but that stopped after the family left Utah and moved into separate homes. Without the spiritual aspect, the empty polygamy wasn't enough to hold the Brown family together. Understandably, Robyn thinks they failed to impart their values to their children. Of all 18 Brown children, not a single one has said that they want to live a polygamous lifestyle. Many of the adult children are married and have their own families, but at least so far, they've all chosen to pursue monogamous relationships. They all say that they loved growing up in such a big family, but they didn't want polygamy for their own lives. Kody adopted Aurora and Robyn's other 2 children in 2014. The kids even changed their last names from Jessup to Brown. It doesn't seem like Robyn's children have much of a relationship with their biological father. When it was time for Aurora to ask someone to be a part of her baptism, she asked Kody instead of her biological father. Kody seemed to enjoy being a part of Aurora's baptism, and it may lead him back to religion. Going through multiple divorces made Kody bitter and turned him against his religion. When his first wife, Mary, left him in 2022, she went to their church to seek an official release of the spiritual covenant. When Mary told Kody about wanting to go through the church, he told her he didn't recognize the authority of the church. Mary grew up in a polygamous family, and she's still a believer who wants to handle her divorce properly. Now that Kody helped baptize Aurora, the Sister Wives patriarch could be thinking about making amends with his other children. In the ever-twisting saga of Sister Wives, one reality remains constant. The chasm between Kody Brown and most of his older children continues to grow wider with each passing season. What once began as a portrait of plural harmony has fractured into something more bittersweet. And, at the center of it all, many fans can't help but notice how firmly Kody seems to be entrenched in Robyn Brown's world, particularly when it comes to her children. Gone are the days when Kody would bustle between four homes, a constant presence in the lives of his nearly 20 kids. Now, the rhythms of his life seem quieter, simpler, but also far more limited. Viewers and family insiders alike have long speculated that Kody's bond with Robyn's 5 children has eclipsed his relationships with the rest of his sprawling family. And if recent episodes and social media whispers are any indication, those suspicions aren't just tabloid fodder. They may reflect a deeper truth. To understand how things got here, it's important to remember how central Kody once was to his entire family unit. In the early seasons, he was the classic dad on the go, refereeing soccer games, giving teenage advice, and organizing chaotic family meetings where everyone's voices clamored to be heard. But as the fractures between him and his older wives, Cristin, Janelle, and Mary, deepened, so too did the rift with their children. Now, in contrast, Kody's life with Robyn feels far less complicated. Robyn's kids, Dayton, Aurora, Brianna, Solomon, and Ariella, are still young enough or have been sheltered enough to remain largely within Kody's orbit. He still helps with school projects, cheers from the sidelines, and plays the everyday role of an active father figure, the same role that has become increasingly absent in the lives of his other children. The difference is stark. Cristin's kids, for example, have openly spoken about the emotional distance that has grown between them and their father. Gwendolyn, Isabel, and even Aspen have subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, hinted at the heartache of feeling abandoned. Janelle's sons, particularly Garrison and Gabe, have been vocal about their estrangement, with heated arguments and raw emotions spilling into the public eye. It's no secret. Kody's bond with them is not what it once was, if it exists at all in some cases. Meanwhile, over at Robyn's house, Kody's presence is steady. Photos show him attending family outings, birthday parties, and everyday errands with Robyn and her kids. He beams proudly when he talks about Solomon's milestones or Ariella's latest adventures. To Kody, it seems Robyn's home is where his identity as a father remains intact, unchallenged, appreciated, and respected. There's a quiet tragedy to it all. Some of Kody's older children have long yearned for even a fraction of that attention. They've grown into adults who had to navigate milestones, graduations, moves, marriages, without their father standing proudly by. Cristin's daughter, Mykelti, welcomed her twins into the world with minimal fanfare from Kody. Janelle's son Hunter graduated and embarked on a promising career largely without Kody's presence. And yet, the camera still captures Kody poring over Robyn's kids with a level of devotion that feels glaring in its exclusivity. Of course, Kody would likely argue that it's not favoritism, but logistics. Robyn's children are still living at home, still under his roof, and therefore still part of his daily responsibilities. But that rationale rings hollow for many fans. After all, parenting doesn't end at 18, nor does love hinge on proximity. The effort, or lack thereof, speaks volumes. Even Mary's only child, Leon, has navigated significant life changes largely independent of Kody's involvement. While Mary continues to cling to some shred of loyalty to Kody, despite their official split, even she can't ignore the reality that her child isn't receiving the same level of fatherly engagement that Robyn's kids enjoy daily. Insiders have whispered that part of Kody's devotion to Robyn's children stems from his view of Robyn herself. Throughout the show's more recent seasons, Robyn has often been portrayed as the obedient wife, the one who defers to Kody's leadership without the defiance or independence shown by Cristin, Janelle, and Mary. In return, Robyn's children are seen, perhaps unconsciously by Kody, as the safe kids, the ones who haven't questioned him, challenged him, or made him feel like a failure. It's a painful cycle, one that both feeds and is fed by his insecurities as a father and a husband.